Mhm.
Hi all, how you doing? My name is Luis Carlos Reyes, and today I'm doing a special video on my channel here, and it's going to be in English. And for the most part, my channel is a Spanish-speaking channel, and I deal, I'm a Christian, and we deal with a lot of false teachings and cults and stuff like that. But we do it in Spanish. But today, I'm here with AJ, and AJ is an ex-member of the Light of the World Church, La Luz del Mundo. And it's really not a church; it's actually a cult once we really look at it. But I'm really excited to have you here. How are you, AJ?
I'm doing well. I'm just excited to just bang out the truth and just move the world, or at least our little corner of the world, just better, like just in a better place, away from what we're gonna dive into, the lies, the deception, the just very cultic groupthink. It's not good, and we're better than this. And there's a lot to learn, but well, we're all just better than this.
Right on. A lot of
Hmm.
people know about the Light of the World Church in the Spanish world because we've made a lot of videos in Spanish, and a lot of people have just published stuff in Spanish, but there really is not a whole lot in English. For
Hmm.
those English speakers that are watching this and they have no clue what the Light of the World is, maybe you can tell us a little bit about what this cult is,
Hmm.
how long you were a part of this cult, and why you got out, and why is it dangerous, and how is it
Hmm.
relevant today in the news with the arrest of their leader?
Geez, if I could give a giant elevator pitch for the entire like saga of a universe of like a religious pseudo religious universe that this thing is, it'd be hard, but I'm gonna do it. So, La Luz del Mundo is a Christian church, sort of separated from the Catholic Church, that was founded in 1926 by Eusebio Joaquin. Eusebio Joaquin, on in like April something, 6 de abril, so 6th of April 1926, claims that he was sleeping in like a house with his wife, and then like the roof opened and then God pointed with stars. I'm not even gonna tell the story because it's just like it's just fictitious. Like, who cares? This is the bullcrap that he made up and like smashed into everyone's head over generations, right? I'm not gonna give the story, but basically the guy thinks he's the apostle on earth, and then he goes down to Guadalajara, to basically Catholic Central of Mexico. This is like post-revolutionary Mexico, 1926, and there's this great like fervent and varied um, culture of criticizing the Catholic Church. And so what he's doing, he comes out of the military, and he wasn't even like even very that high ranking, and not even that spectacular of a person, right? And he goes down to Guadalajara, and he starts preaching to his family, to his spouse's family, and then eventually they gain a following, and eventually they acquire like a patch of land in like the 50s or 60s, that in the neighborhood that we now call the Hermosa Provincia. It was just outside of Guadalajara, which again, Catholic Central, and this was like sort of a plot of land outside of Guadalajara. But then eventually, as Guadalajara grew, it sort of absorbed it in, and it's integrated into the larger city. Um, but so Eusebio Joaquin dies in 1963, 64, and then his son, I'm not sure if it's oldest son, but it's not his only son. Samuel comes to the throne. He's in his like late 20s in like 1963, 64, and then he's there until 2014. So yeah, it was actually 1964 because it was 2014, and then he had his 50th anniversary. So Samuel oversees like literally over half of the church history as we know it so far. So he's like very pivotal in this whole thing, and that is at some point where the doctrine gets very perverted and very it starts getting questionable and wishy-washy, and a culture of not questioning like really starts to integrate itself, and it's very interesting. It's very interesting, but so from 1964 to 2014, in the 80s and like the mid 80s is when they start building the big white church, which is now just the iconic thing, the monument of their labor, of their collective labor, which is beautiful. It's a beautiful effort to engage in, but like for the purposes of just this cultic, uh, dogmatic belief system that is gigantic and very demanding, and has so many flaws in it, but just consistent. But it's like its only defense is saying and repeating and smashing in people's heads that there's no flaw in it, and there's no flaw in the man that's like the central figure in the organization, the apostle. Um, um, so yeah, they built a big white church in like the 80s, and that's important because that's really impactful on a lot of people. In 1997, there's a sexual abuse scandal that happens, and that has its own like detail, but at least we have to flag that. There's also rumors that Eusebio Joaquin was doing some sort of I'm not sure if sexual abuse, but extramarital affair kind of things. And I don't know how to corroborate that. I haven't really investigated that so much, but I mean the stories go back. Like there's something there, especially in 1997. I don't know about Eusebio, but like in 1997, something very important happened. That's a whole thing. Samuel dies in 2014 December, and then they mourn his body for like a week, and then Nason comes, and we know how many holes there are in that story, and just how like weird of a week it was, and the activities, and it was a very weird event, and for some people that was when they started snapping out, because they couldn't figure out the transition, they couldn't process it. Anyways, so Nason comes to the throne, which is like at this point just looking like a dynasty, a familial like dynasty, like a monarchy within the same family. And of course it keeps like properties are like under the same family, so then like it just keeps like all the properties and all the accumulated wealth over generations of exploitation and lies and deception, like from the pulpit. All that money just like stays within the family, and it's just it's there's so much to say, and that's just like, yeah. Then so Nason comes to the throne in like December 14, 2014, and then he's been in place since then. Even though he's been in jail and like locked up, but he's still considered to be at the central the central thing in this whole thing. And the doctrine gets really weird and perverted, and we'll get to that in a bit. But basically, the other day I saw a picture of me and Nason in the same frame. He's walking, and it's like overhead, and he's kind of walking on down a hall, and I'm like dressed up in like a military thing. It's really weird. We might talk about that later, but that was 6 years ago, almost exactly 6 years ago, like 6 years and a couple days. Look at where we're at now. Like that man was just touring the world, like spending money everywhere. Everyone's like bowing down just because he's a new apostle, and crying, and just, oh my God, we're gonna just all the spectacle. He's plastering his logo. He has a logo. He has a logo. Like he's Target. Like he's the University of Houston, just trying to slap, identity, like visual identity. Again, it's weird. It's just merchandise, and he makes money off of this stuff. Anyways, so they're redecorating the temples, to taking down Samuel. They don't take down the Joaquin parts. Like if they have a Joaquin family seal, you know how they have those in like Spain? What are they called? Family, whatever they're called. Those didn't come down. It's Joaquin stayed up. But yeah, the name changed Samuel, but it's wishy-washy. It's just bad. Hold on, let me write something down, because like I've just even thought about something.
I'm listening to you and what you're talking about, and we fast forward to the arrest of their leader, Nason Joaquin Garcia.
Yeah.
And, all the allegations that are coming out, and I think it's interesting that even that his attorneys have admitted that he was having an affair, a consensual affair with other women. Well, that makes him an adulterer. And in biblical theology, that's a big no-no. There are no apostles in the Bible that practiced adultery. So to me, that was a first indication that he's a false apostle.
Yeah.
But it's amazing to see how these people, they're willing to accept whatever he says, whatever he comes out of his mouth. The logos you're talking about, it's in their underwear.
The man claims that he. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go on.
I'm just saying the logos. I was thinking about what you were saying. I mean, they have them on their underwear. They have them on their on their hats. They have them on their, there's boxy.
Hats,
Yeah,
shirts,
it's
hats,
amazing.
like shirts, phone screensavers, pictures in your bedroom, pictures in your living room, like he's your uncle, your weird rich uncle in like a fur coat. Why? Like he's not. Like this man is just like crapping on your intelligence. He's just like telling you lies, telling you that he can divert hurricanes and that he can and that he was like pseudo time traveled one day by the grace of God so he could witness the crucifixion of Jesus. But and it's just like he just watched like he just narrated like the Passion of the Christ, a movie that I remember they specifically told people not to watch, not like way back when it came out, not in 2015 when he gave that story, but just ridiculous things that he's like that he's the most humble man on earth. He is just like he is the example that you should be following, and yet the inconsistencies are just there and there and there. And this man like claims to have the most important part is that he has the keys to heaven. These are just phrases that they say like just all the time. He has the keys to heaven. He has the book of life, and he's writing our names down for who he's going to turn into God, and then God's going to read it and say, okay, yeah, let these people in. Just like
Mhm.
this very ridiculous like fiction that he's created around him being the sole mediator between humanity and the creator of the universe,
Mhm.
and like lining himself up with Jesus, and he's not Jesus, but he's perfect like Jesus, but he's not Jesus, but he kind of is, but like he's not, but he's married. Kind of, it's just like
Yeah.
it's ridiculous. And he has the keys to heaven, and he has um he's the sole like way you can survive, and it's ridiculous.
He
It
has absolute
uh,
power. I've been researching the cult since 1995. I was there in 1995 in Mexico. I
mhm.
saw a lot of the stuff. I interviewed people there, and
I was
we
like
would,
I
yeah,
said,
we
I was
would,
probably my first Santa
uh,
Cena man. I was born in 95, and they always make it a point to take the infants, like regardless, like you better not miss it. You better not miss the Santa Cena, even if you have like an infant at home.
yeah.
Yeah, it's serious. It's
Because in the Santa Cena, their Holy Supper, that's when the apostle forgives their sins. But that really is designed is to have everybody from around the world come, respond to Guadalajara, and then celebrate the Holy Supper. And they collect
mhm,
all these offerings, and of course they have these gigantic bags, to collect the offerings. They look like these KFC buckets, and
big.
and it's for a whole week, if my understanding is correct. But
Yes.
they need to go there because their apostles is supposed to forgive their sins, which is really contrary to. I mean, if these people would just like read their Bibles, because in the Bible, Jesus already paid for your sins. It's a once for all thing. So
Mm,
that's why they take their eyes off of the Bible. They say the Bible's trash. They say Jesus, they put him aside and they uplift Nason because they're selling you something else. It's a shell game. And they
mhm,
want you to have absolute faith in their leader. And yeah, he's not God to them, but he has all the powers of God. That's what I have been told, and that's what I've researched. Basically, yeah, like you said, he has the keys to heaven. He will decide who goes to heaven and who doesn't
mhm.
go to heaven. And if you talk bad about him, bad things can happen to you. And a lot of the
Yeah.
members, they're really scared. And did
Mhm.
you ever have any? Did you ever hear of anything like that or any experiences about that?
Of people being scared to
Yeah,
question,
yeah.
just every day. But um, there's so many people in this cult, and just the way it's organized, familial relations, and the way it's distributed certain people out of certain families and into like the ministry around the world, and the way they've like implicated a bunch of families and hooked them in, like by sending their kids out somewhere or demanding their labor all the time, that sort of thing. Um, um, the people should just see my inboxes, like plural inboxes. People full, like so many of them. I don't know their names. Some I do. I don't. I never try to inquire unless they're really interested. But so many people all over the planet that are just questioning the cult, want to get out, uh, are already out, are like sort of mentally out, but they're still physically in, and they're adults, or maybe they're. I know ministers who want to leave, who ministers who want to leave and they can't because they know that they're stuck with their spouse, and they're trying to like still talk to their spouse, but they don't want to make a move yet because they're afraid their spouse is going to rat on them and take the kids and get a divorce with the help from the rest of the ministry and the rest of that treasure chest of that war chest of money. and yeah, it's a lot of people that really went out,
Yeah.
and but they're speaking up. That's the important thing. Just even like sending a message, even reading. Like, say you contact nobody ever. Ideally, you do. So just just to help, and be sure to like be very careful. But um even just like um geez, what were we talking about? Even just questioning, even just
Yeah.
reading, like just inform yourself. These people want you to be very stupid.
Yeah.
Like, you are most convenient to them when you're like it's a harsh word, when you're like uneducated, but like educate yourselves. The most offensive thing was when someone was arrested, and they called immediate attention to everyone in the church. Show up at your church at a certain amount of time. We have your freaking phone numbers. We have networks of like group texts, WhatsApp, everything. Everyone show up to church at 8 p.m. We go there. There's no what's going to happen is now someone going to visit. Oh my God, are we going to? Oh my God, do we have to plaster his logo 20 more times around the church because he's coming next week? We don't know what's going to happen. There's always a surprise. The surprise was the man was arrested, and then the ministry, the bishops all lined up, like they're like the war generals of just like it just very like it was just very creepy. They all line up and they're like, my face is here, and if you speak up, you're gonna be responsible for me. And you probably don't know the 10 other dudes, but if you in Kansas, you in Wyoming, you in Canada, bring a question, you're going to be responsible to me. Like, do you know? Like, there's a specific hierarchy to this.
Hmm.
Anyways, and basically they said don't read the news. Like, that's very um like
Controlling.
offensive. Like
Offensive.
you don't like you tell that to children when
Yeah.
uh when you're
Yeah.
trying to like
Tell.
watch out for them, maybe, but like no, this is an instance where people should have been waking up, and they were demanding consecrations 24/7. That's not normal. That's just cult like behavior. And we can talk about other cults that practice that have these same exercises of indoctrination, of brainwashing. Like, I don't
Mhm.
use that word lightly.
Yeah.
Of peer pressure networks. It's of doctrine, that of black and white thinking, of of excessive like infiltration in your life. Like, asking for permission to leave town for an hour to go to the beach.
Yeah.
That's weird. Like, why
What's
do you?
that? I
That's
mean,
just.
that's absolute control, and that's what cults do. I was thinking about
Mhm,
what you were saying. For the
mhm,
people that have never heard of this cult, the reason some people are afraid to leave, like you were mentioning, the ministers that you know, is because when somebody leaves this cult, they practice they practice shunning, and the people inside will no longer speak to you. If it's your own family, they're encouraged to not speak to you. So you could be a husband, and that could be the last time you speak to your wife or see your kids. So there's a lot of fear with these members in the cult that want to leave, and that's the reason why you have some of them that are still kind of have one foot in and one foot out. But there's also a lot of intimidation, like you were saying, like with the bishops.
mhm,
Um, there's a lot of unwritten stuff. There's a lot of implied stuff.
mhm.
But I see, I've spoken
The-
to a lot of people,
mhm,
and they are really, really scared
mhm.
because there's a lot of.
And I want to make it. I want to make this like important.
Mhm.
I'm here with my face because like I'm just sick of the lies. Like, I respect that a lot of people on your channel don't want to show their face, and like they can all assess their own situation. I totally respect that. I'm open, but just me personally, like, I can afford to show my face, and I just like I need my face out there. Like you people are just so much like we're better than this. Like, you guys like these folks raised me, and I know they're just hardworking, honest people that really just want to live like upright lives in this wonderful country, in the US, of course, but like it can be wonderful for them. And they want to be good, and they just want to belong, and they don't want to, mess up. And I'm sorry, but like the path that you've chosen is wrong, and you just have to be brave enough to get out. Yeah, I'm sorry. I had to interrupt you, but
No, no, that's
to,
okay.
to me that's very important.
That's important. If we can encourage these people to, the most fearful thing this cult fears is for its members to start thinking for themselves, but question things. Wait a minute, why are we doing this? Wait a minute, I barely have enough money to feed my kids and rent. Why should this money be going to the leader? you
Why
know,
does the leader
yeah, why does he even need money? I mean, he's filthy
18, and none
rich.
of them, and a bunch of them are resident, and they're residential, and they're not like lots of land where you could, build a church. Like that would make sense if he just owned it like a little bit. But like it makes less sense that it's a house and it's real estate. Like this man is literally stealing money and putting it into sources into sources of stable like income that'll in real estate. It's just gonna grow. Like this man is outsmarting them. Like so many of these brothers, I'm not even going to call them that, but so many of these folks of my community don't have homes. They live in apartments, and that's because like a good chunk of their income, 10, 15%, and a lot of their like brain space is dedicated to the man on the wall that they've barely seen in their lives, and there's this like mythology around him, like he's Hercules or pseudo Jesus, and he's not unique like that. Like there's a bunch of like psychopathic liars out there in the world that run cults and probably don't run cults and do other things. And but this is one where like a lies from 1926 that a guy
Yep.
was telling other people on the street in Mexico snowballed really hard into what we have now.
Yeah. You,
Yeah, sorry, there's a
you,
lot
you know what's
there.
funny that I mean, from when I read the Bible, Jesus said, "Hey, beware. There's going to be false prophets and false Christs. I'm telling you beforehand, they're going to come. Don't believe them." I mean, Jesus himself said those things. You know, when you mentioned about theft, I want to clarify for some people that it's actually a theft by deceit or by fraud. It's not that he's actually stealing things from your hand, but he's deceiving you. He's making you believe something that is not true. And there's a lot of good-hearted people in La Luz del Mundo who give their hard-earned money because they really do think that Nazon is going to save them. And they're lying to them. They're stealing their money by trick, deceit, and fraud. This is all a fraud because he is not who he says he is. And the very fact, which I think is a very important point, the very fact that we have seen in court that his attorneys are arguing that he had consensual sex with these people, that it's not, he didn't force himself on anybody. Nobody held a gun to their head. This was consensual. That tells me that he had an affair. Apostles of the Bible, they did not have affairs. This apostle here, so-called apostle, does not fit the criterion of what an apostle is in the Bible. Therefore, he's a false apostle. That alone tells me he's a fake. But this is what gets me, AJ. I've
Mhm,
spoken to people from La Luz del Mundo. Maybe you could help me understand this. But I've asked, numerous times I've made this question:
mhm,
is there anything you would not do for Nason if he asked you to do it?
mhm.
Is there anything that you would not do for Nason if he asked you to do it? What do you think the answer is that I hear?
It's no, and I've never asked a question, but you know, in the way I understand other people's minds, if I had asked them that, I know I wouldn't have gotten. Oh yeah, there's something yeah, there's a couple things I wouldn't do for him if he asked me to. But no, it wouldn't be that simple of just like actually yeah, I would question it a little bit. It's always no, I'm gonna do everything for him, like just very straight, or they give you a weird answer, a weird
Yeah.
long answer that's
Yes.
very just preachy, and
Yes.
then but really it means no, and they
Yeah,
learned
they
this.
start going to
So
these little rabbit trails. Well, back in
uh,
1995 or 96, somewhere around there, we asked a question to some of the members there and this was when Samuel was there. And we asked this
mhm,
question: Hey, if Samuel were to tell you, the Lord spoke to me, today is the day you are going to be in heaven. The Lord called you and he wants you in heaven today. But in order for you to get to heaven, you need to drink this wine, and it has poison in it. But today you will be with God. It's his wish for you to drink this poison, but you have to commit suicide. And the question was asked, would you do it? And three out of the four people, after trying to run around the question for a while, they finally said, "Yeah, if he told me to do it, I would do it. How about you? I would do it too. And you? Yeah, I would do it too." And the fourth guy said, "I don't know." And you know what? When I saw that guy, I said, "This guy still has hope because he's thinking for himself." But the other three guys looked at him like, "Wow, you're a weak-minded brother." But that
Um,
scared me
I
because
remember seeing that. That
you
was
saw
tough to
that.
watch. That's not something that I could watch like twice. You know how you can watch a video, you can listen to a lecture, and you want to listen to the video. Was that was something I couldn't watch twice. It was just like I just had to watch it once. I was like, oh God, I can I can watch it several more times in my head with other people that I personally know. I know they would act like that, and it sucks to say, but like it has to be said so people can recognize it. It's in the back of their mind and is planted in there by this man, and they got to question it. Like they can clean their plate, you know. There's they can clean this. They can deprogram. It's not normal to just consume this stuff, uh, like uh, in cassettes and music and like Bibles and this Bible and get the new Bible and get the new Bible and get the Chalina and get the magazine and go to the and go visit over there and come. It's just like it's weird. Um,
24/7,
mhm.
24/7.
So you were bringing up that video of the people saying that that they would commit suicide, and it's horrific to think about. These people, like, shouldn't these people know about Jonestown? So I have heard uh I remember one time as a kid, I was like 13, 14, 12, something like that. I was outside of church helping with like an activity. We were setting up like tents, during church time, which was a guy like tool, a guy uh task. And that's weird. Hold on, it shows up in other cults too. I'm not kidding. That's specific, like getting all the males to go do a physical thing away from the women while they're being lectured to. It's
Mm-hmm.
weird. That happens in other cults.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, I remember one time I was outside, I was doing that, and I remember the sermon was about like La Luz del Mundo is not a cult. I didn't listen to any of it. I don't remember any of it, but I just remember a line where I just know that that was a topic. And I'm just gonna be honest, I'm not gonna make anything up, but I just know that that was a topic. That's weird. That's fishy. On a Sunday, the most important day of the week, the Lord's Day, and you're gonna talk about like your critics. You're not gonna talk about like the actual essence of the word. What's really important, which really should be, what you're talking about like all the time. Why are they diving into these topics? It's because they're scared of something. They're scared of like media attention. They're scared of that stuff. They're scared of us speaking up and using that language and learning about it. I've learned about it. Have you heard of Nexium?
Yes.
Nxivm.
Yes.
Uh, with their leader Keith Raniere, he just got sentenced to like over 100 years or something in like a New York court. I think it was like Buffalo. It's a cult. It's not a church, but it's a self help organization that's kind of like for just hustlers, for just like just people that want to have more confidence in their career.
Yeah.
And the cult, it's a cult. It might
Yeah.
be a group. It starts out, it's
Yeah.
demanding of money. I'm a kid you not. Like I think it's HBO or Showtime. They have a documentary. Guys, you can sign up for free for like a week to watch on the platform. Of course, be careful, but then like you can watch this whole thing and look at it. It's La Luz del Mundo and just its cousin form as like a self-help group. That's weird. So I bring that up because there's things like Nexium, there's things like Jonestown, Jim Jones, which your question like alludes to
Yes.
Jim Jones, and when he got a bunch of people to kill themselves.
Yeah.
It's horrific.
That's
And
that's when
it,
we asked that question. That's what we were thinking about because we read the hymn
mhm,
book of La Luz del Mundo and all the things that were saying. I don't see a man, I see Jesus. Oh, you
mhm,
are our savior. You are the way. I mean, all these things that pertain to Jesus that we're saying about him. And man, I was mortified when they said they would kill themselves for their leader. And I'm thinking, well, how many more of these people are out there from La Luz del Mundo? What if Nason were to say in one of these holy suppers, today's the day the whole church is going to be with the Lord, and they start passing around this wine, contaminated wine, like in Jonestown? It's possible this could happen because I see the same level of brainwashing, maybe even worse, because they won't question anything that Nason says because it's like if God were speaking. So I mean, I'm trying to get people to snap and think. I'm on. Well, what if not? What if your leader told you to eat poop? Would you eat it? And oh, he would never say that. Well, what if he did? Oh, yeah, well, he never said. But they won't say yes or no. That's the problem. Well, what if Nason told you to put a baby in the microwave and cook them? Would you do that? If he told you this was a sacrifice to the Lord? You know what? I'm afraid to say, but I think there are some fanatics in there that would do that. What do you think?
it's it the Jonestown thing again, like Jim Jones. Look these, I want the La Luz del Mundo people to look these up and just start investigating these groups who look like similar to you. Not kidding. Not completely, and they end different ways, and they get there in different ways. They get there and they start differently, but they have certain practices that are just fishy. Anyways, Nexium, Jonestown, Iglesia Ni Cristo, Scientology. Like, just look up Scientology. They're crazy, and just the list goes on. I had a list somewhere. I'm not even gonna look for it because I might get lost. But
there's a lot of similar characteristics in cults, and I think that's what you're hitting at right now. A lot of similar
and my ultimate point is like, okay, La Luz Mundo is not a church. Fine, don't Google that, but go Google the other things that are called cults and investigate those. I bring those up as just like a back door, a mental back door to get into people's brains so that they can recognize that, like, just to plant that seed of doubt and make them go to the next Dominical and just be like, this is actually weird. Why? This is just weird. Why is the dude's logo plastered everywhere?
That's a red light. That should be a little red light.
Why is it on my car? Why is it on my car? It's weird. It happens all the time.
And when AJ is saying this, he's not exaggerating. I mean, these logos are literally all around the church. They're in front of the temple, so the people that are sitting in the church, I mean, they're just like, eyes are just affixed to these logos, and all it is Samuel Joaquin Garcia, SJG. And you look to the side, and they're on the side of the church too. You look on the left side, they're still there. You look outside in the back, they're there. Outside the temple, in the temple. This logo is everything. This is not a Christ-centered church. It's a Nason-centered church. That's what this is. And all the attention it's made to focus around him.
It's like Coca-Cola.
It worries me, man. Let me tell you, just real quick, don't lose your train of thought.
Yes.
Excuse me, still getting over this COVID cough. It worries me. Let me tell you what worries me, okay? For 25 years, maybe more, I've interviewed many people from La Luz del Mundo. I know how they think. I know their mentality. I've written a book about them back in 2000.
I'm gonna write one too. I'm tired of the lies.
Awesome, yeah, because there's a lot of new stuff to write on. But here's the thing. The thing is that they're just willing to do anything he says without questioning. And this is what worries me, okay? What if now someone were to say, I want all of you to pick up arms and fight against the government because it's the devil and we are the truth. We are the real church. This is the devil. He can convince all these people to pick up arms, and I'm certain, at least some of them at least, will pick up arms and would fight against the government. That's what scares me. That's what scares me. That's like David Koresh.
I was just thinking that the Branch Davidians in Waco. I'm gonna go to Waco actually. I don't know if like this summer or sometime soon for something else, but like I'm gonna go read those documents. That stuff is real.
Yeah.
And I want to add to this thing about like they would pick up arms. Yeah. Which could be, I don't want to make exaggerations, but
yeah, I don't want to. I'm not trying to be like an alarmist or hey, he's exaggerating or what Luis saying now. No, man, I'm basing this on my personal experience on videos of people saying they would kill themselves if their leader would tell them this. They would do anything their leader would tell them. Mm-hmm. And AJ, that's true. There's fanatics in there. There's a certain sector of them that would do this. I'm not saying the whole church would do it, but some of them. But you only need one nut with a rifle to cause problems. So I don't know.
I hope not. Yeah, I
know that's pretty heavy.
It's I know it's heavy. Yeah, and to add to that, they have a specific point in being part of the organization that you not have a gun, that you can't own guns. That's part of the you can't drink, you can't smoke, tuck your shirt in. Women dress a certain way, whatever. But like another one of the rules is like you better not own a gun or work in a profession that has you using a gun. I know at least one person who was a cop at one point, and then I think he joined the church, or like, I'm not too sure, but at some point it came to the attention of the minister, and the minister's like, you can't be a cop anymore. Don't do that. Go move into something else. You can't do that. Because then of course, as a cop, he would have a gun at his home. He would learn what it would be like to have an arm. And they know this is a rule, and they're always like, yeah, the apostle would never want us to have a gun. But like the point of what you're trying to get at, and that what I'm trying to get at is that he could just change the doctrine on a whim, and the people would be like, okay,
it's okay
we're
now.
Gonna do it. Yeah, it's okay now. We're just don't even question it. It's none of our business. That's between God and him, and we're dumb. And like they're not saying we're dumb, but we can't act like this. We can't, like, I used to do this, and I'm sorry, but I continually like lose my patience with
Yeah.
just recognizing how much, like, if I was a pile, if my dignity was a pile of marbles, they were taking it little by little. They weren't gonna take a whole bag, and one day they would do that sometimes, but it was just little by little. Like, this is
Hmm.
how the doctrine escalates. And look at these other cults. These it starts a little bit way, and then it starts escalating and gets crazier, and then the dude the leaders become psychotic, literally like psychotic, crazy, narcissistic liars, and so much is built on them, and they just have so much money, and they just thrive on it. It's really weird. It teaches us something about like humans. We're like susceptible to lies like this. And so when he got arrested on crazy on an incredible amount of charges, and that were just and then the bishops were like, no, we're your only source of information. Don't you dare watch your local TV news station. Don't read the New York Times. Don't blah blah blah.
And
That
especially don't watch my channel.
Yeah, don't watch my channel. Don't listen to AJ. AJ was part of us, and he was in the stands, and he was good, and
Yeah.
we never had anything bad to say about him. And he went to church. He went to the university, and we're so proud of him.
Yeah.
And then the moment I speak up, and I was like, "Hey guys, I think you guys should be questioning what's going on over there." Uh, it flips on them. No one, people like would cut me off and just, "No, I'm not talking to you. You're awful. I can't believe you." It's wild. But basically, it's the dude was arrested, and the chant just became inocente honorable, innocent honorable, innocent honorable. Don't you dare question it. Innocent honorable. He's perfect. He's blah blah blah. I don't care what he says. We know him. We literally haven't seen him. I loved Michael's interview from the other day. So good. Just fucking just a big like swing. I love it. So many swings, and that the cult would just have no answer. Anyways, it's not the Nason isn't inocente or honorable. He's not innocent. He's not honorable. It's that the ex-members are the ones who are calling out the crap, calling out the lies, and breaking away and helping people breaking away. That's the honorable task. Um, and they're defending the innocent. Like, we need to like take these words away from the dude who keeps like plastering them on himself. It's not normal that the moment that the dude got arrested in June 2019, June 3rd, that was a Monday, 2019, and then like later on in that week, they had a monument in Hermosa Provincia of Inocente. I don't know what the little text says on each of the letters. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. I wonder, but just that's not normal. That's not normal. That's that's like violence. That's like violence on the minds of the people who came forward. And that's like a threat. That is a
Yeah.
middle finger, just in a
Yeah.
different way, to the people who decided to speak up, to innocent people that decided to speak up, that by no choice of their own were born into this cult, and the people around them like sort of peer pressured them just kind of little by little into getting into this weird situation with the cult leader. Anyways, um, if anything, even the members in the church are the honorable ones. It's not Nason. They are the honorable ones in that they come to this country and they're not lying to people. Like, I know so many people in this organization, like actual brothers, who are like very nice people. They really won't lie. They really won't steal at their jobs. They really don't drink.
Hmm.
They really don't smoke. And those are like vices that some people don't like. But like they're really trying to like be good people. They pay their taxes.
Yeah.
They they go on nice vacations. They never get in trouble, probably a speeding ticket, but like they never get in fights. These are like literally, these people are not even doing that stuff. Like, I mean to talk like nicely about them. That's honorable stuff. Nason is absolutely not honorable. He's the exact opposite. This dude hired lawyers. The most the most perfect man on the planet, who talks a big game, all bark. Just he talks so much crap, says he's perfect, says he's magical, and the world leaders want to know him, and he can divert hurricanes. He has the perfect stage right there in that courtroom to open the roof up and have God like show Inocente in star signs. That's how the cult started.
Yeah.
That's just the foundation story,
See,
right? So
go ahead. Go
he's
ahead.
not gonna do not gonna happen. And then what's the excuse? Oh, it's in God's plan. He's just gonna keep us waiting for something else. Don't just it doesn't work.
It, it's silly.
Keeps falling. That like the way the Earth has like satellites. Satellites aren't stuck in midair. They keep
Yeah.
falling. That's just what it is. It's just a lie, just on top of a lie.
Yeah.
There's no gravity to it. The internal logic don't have any logic. Like that's how everything else just starts. That's how all the other beliefs come into like play and lock
Yeah,
in.
it's just a lie over a lie. It's just covering lies. I tell the people, hey, well, if Nason can read people's mind, why doesn't he read the minds of the district attorney? And let's get their plan and their strategies, and then relay it to your attorneys, and then you guys can win this case. Why doesn't he read the
Yeah,
judge's mind
the
too?
attorneys. So like he hired lawyers and he didn't. So hold on. The most perfect man on the planet. Blah 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 blah. He's a defendant. Everyone agrees he's a defendant. He's locked up. He has to go show up and talk or something. He has to show up for something. The man doesn't have to a lawyer. No one has to hire a lawyer. You can represent yourself. Don't do it. It's really hard. There's a bunch of rules. You just got to know a lot. Um, um, okay, well, fine. But still, he's like the most perfect man. I thought he knew all the crap, but just no. It turns out he doesn't. Give him a lawyer. Not a court. You can get a court-appointed lawyer. He didn't get one. He got freaking Alan Jackson, the same man who wants to defend Kevin Spacey, who not wants to defend, but got hired to defend Kevin Spacey for the same sort of sexual abuse like charges. And then when Alan Jackson's not doing that, he's doing these other high-profile things. He's like hustling. He's hustling Nason in sort of a way that Nason hustled a bunch of people. And I think it's good that we have lawyers in the society for in a certain way.
Yeah.
They serve like a good purpose
Yeah.
against the government in a really good way. They know how to play one branch of the government against another one. That's a good thing. That's really complicated to speak of, but it is not totally a bad thing that we have lawyers. It sucks in a situation like this, where a man like this, who just lies and BSs all the time, and has nothing to show for it, shows that he has nothing to show for it, and he hires lawyers specifically designed, and then the lawyers are very smart people, and they know and they understand the situation, and they can't mess up because he's paying them, and if they mess up, he's gonna kick them off, and he's gonna hire a new chunk of lawyers. So they serve a purpose. They get the body of information, and they're like, okay, what do we say? How do we be careful? How do we like nudge our way through this? They had to give up. It's very telling that Kenneth Rosenfeld and Alan Sawyer, up until like August 2019, so that whole summer when they were representing him, this is when the adulterating thing came out. This is when they knew they understood the thing. This is the first set of lawyers. They understood the thing, and they're like, yeah, we just in the first place, dude, we have to admit that you're an adulterer. You were hanging out with that woman just way too much privately, and we just have to admit that because they're gonna get us on that.
Yep.
And we have to focus on this other thing, this
Yep.
this much deeper thing of you were having an extramarital affair, which is okay. It was consensual. It wasn't
Yeah.
rape. We have to focus on
It's
that
not
because
illegal. It's not illegal. So let's go that route because the other route of you raping them, yeah, you're gonna hang yourself. They had no choice.
the route of at first on day one, the route of this dude's perfect. He's innocent. He's perfect. He's innocent. He never cheated on his wife. He would never do this. He would never do that. That was open to the lawyers at first. But I'm sorry, along the way, when they're thinking and talking in their conference rooms and having like a slideshow of things and just like talking to each other and brainstorming together, they're like, yeah, dude, we actually have to admit that you were having sex with this person. Like, they're gonna get us on this. We have to just go ahead and admit it. I'm sorry, but the church members weren't told that in the pulpit, and that goes in direct contradiction to the doctrine. The doctrine versus the actions and the record of his like traveling with his phone in certain places, meeting up in hotel rooms, and like it's horrific. It's horrific. Having lawyers in the first place is so fishy. Anyways, when that adultering thing came out in August 2019, a new set of lawyers. Those lawyers went away. We don't know why, and we're not supposed to know why. That's a lawyer thing. That's a lawyer agreement.
Mhm.
That's part of the confidentiality agreement
Yeah.
that you have.
But for
lawyers, they're not going to supposed to. He probably let them go. The most likely, he probably let them go, or they just gave up with him. They're like, dude, you're frustrating. Like we can't deal with you.
yeah,
He hired a new set of lawyers who were more than willing to do it. And it's not that he had just hired Alan Jackson. It was like Alan Jackson and several other dudes who were in the courtroom too, brainstorming. And then at some point in like April 2020, they hired like this other woman who specializes in a certain thing, and it's just so funky. Like
yeah,
are you guys like, do you guys really think this whole story, this whole saga is worthwhile? Is gonna look pretty in hindsight? There's so many holes. Like, are they gonna write little books commemorating this very like grand tribulation? Is the book gonna be this thick? No, it's not. Is there gonna be a book at all? No, they're gonna try to like clamp down on you guys. If you guys stay in there longer, that when dude comes out, they're going to be even more stringent because they know that people are going to be like on edge, and that other people around you are going to be on edge, and so the church is going to be much firmer on y'all. It's not going to look pretty. Another thing about the lawyers. There's so many fishy things to say about the lawyers. Just lawyers. The first set of lawyers are like kissing the ring of just like, yeah, Nason. Do you remember that video in July 4th, 2019?
yeah,
The two original lawyers, Kenneth Rosenfeld and Alan Sawyer, come out, and they're inside a church, and they're giving their lawyery like assurances to the people, and the lawyers are like, don't even believe in the doctrine. They're just like, yeah, we're here to defend. He's honorable. He's innocent. We're gonna prove it. They're just kissing the ring because there's so much money to be made there.
yeah,
And then once a dissatisfying detail comes out, they're gone. And
yeah.
then we have a new set of lawyers.
But
Alan Jackson hasn't does it.
what I think was funny about that, what you're talking about, is that they kept referring to him as the apostle. Well, we know that the apostle is. We will show that the apostle is innocent. They don't believe he's an apostle. I mean, they'd call him Captain America. I don't care. I'll call you whatever you want. Just pay me. But I thought that was hilarious when they were referring to him as an apostle. But yeah,
That does.
you know,
So has Alan Jackson and his firm and his like all this like these crazy smart people, do they have they put out a video like that? And since in this entire time they haven't. There's one video where Alan Jackson shows up for like 2 minutes. Do you remember that one? He's in his office. He's alone. It's self-recorded.
Oh, yeah.
You can tell.
Yeah.
I don't remember what he says, but like, guys, it's weird. Why is Alan Jackson not giving a dominical? Why is Alan Jackson like not giving a 30-minute thing explaining the whole thing? Like, do you think that dude really spent 2 minutes thinking about the case? Oh yeah, he's innocent. Yeah, blah blah blah. We're gonna show up on the court, and yeah, we're done. I'm gonna move on to my other cases. No, he's thought about this for like so many hours, and just the way he wants to do business with Nason is like, I'm not gonna do videos. I'm not gonna do this crazy propaganda with you, dude. I feel weird doing it for you. I don't know what he's thinking, but like, there's a difference between these two lawyers, and that should be weird. That like people should just point that out.
You know what? Let me say something about the lawyers real quick.
Yes.
Gosh, what's the other woman's attorney? Massey, I think his name. I think his name is Massey. The other female that's her
Mace?
the co-defendant. Not Oaxaca, the other one.
Oh, so there's Susana Oaxaca, Alondra Ocampo.
Okay, Susana. I think it's Susana's attorney. Yeah. So
yes.
I mean, this guy,
Pat Carey, something like that.
Carey, yeah, I think it's Carey or Massey, something like that. I can't remember right now. But that attorney, he said that there's even a video where it's Nason actually having sex with my client. It's not with somebody else. But hello, I mean, he just sunk Nason right there because again, now they're admitting that he's an adulterer.
What happened to there's no evidence? Like that was the chant at first. Like that was just.
Oh yeah, they were saying there's no evidence. Yeah, all of a sudden now there's evidence, but the evidence depicts somebody else in Nason. It's not a person that was raped. I think Oaxaca is gonna completely sink Nason once she starts speaking to what she saw. Now this is a person that was trusted by Nason. Why would she lie? Why would women want to come out and, oh yeah, that was me, in that video doing X things or whatever, things that are, embarrassing. Why would they?
Why has one of the co-defendants been missing the entire time? Like, what the heck? Just in the entire time she's just been gone, and no prayers asked for these people. Like,
Yeah.
even that's weird.
I'm here sitting here and just thinking about what you're saying about uh, the attorneys and Oaxaca. And these were people that were trusted by Nason. And Nason completely, he doesn't even look at him. And, in the Bible, the apostles always wrote letters to the church and said, me and so and so are here in prison in chains, writing to you, wishing you such and such a thing. But Nason never mentions the other arrestees with him. He only mentions himself.
Hmm.
And like you said, they don't
Okay,
say
can I
prayers.
mention?
Yeah, they don't say prayers for those people, for the women that were arrested with him. Why do you think that's the case?
So I have so much to say about, dude, that's its own can of worms. There's so many cans of worms,
It's
and I'm sorry, but like when I'm in conversation with these people, I'll just throw one at them, and I don't get a good response. I throw another, and then it's like, leave me alone. I'm not supposed to be talking to you in the first place. And they teach you to like not engage, to
yeah.
not think critically for yourself. Anyways, the three co-defendants right now are Azalea Rangel Melendez, missing the whole time. We don't know where she is. She's probably in Jalisco somewhere, very likely in Mexico. We don't know. She's just been hiding the whole time. That's weird, guys. Just come on, like that's
Yeah.
just weird. Okay, it did.
Yeah.
All right. Alondra Ocampo, which has been arrested the entire time, has a high bail on her at somewhere 5 million, and never really budged and never moved. She's an important piece. She was an important piece from the start. And Susana Oaxaca, who was only implicated on like one or two charges or three, and Alondra is in more, so that's why she's actually in jail and has a bail. Susana Oaxaca is she had a bail of like 100,000, something like that, and they let her out, and she's on house arrest the entire time. Guys, it's just weird. That never, 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 never. It only in their local, only in those women's local churches in like California and maybe in Guadalajara. I'm not too sure, but only in their local churches, churches, was there ever whispers in the way it's described to me, and I trust it, in the way it's described to me, whispers of, hey, we should pray for the women. They were part of our little community here, but never out loud in the cartas that Nason was supposedly sending. If he was going to mention the women, the names of these women, hey, I'm implicated. The same people on this document that the government has, we should pray for them too. They're some of them are in jail, they're in house arrest, they're going through this tribulation with me. We should pray for them. Never, like never. On July 14th, 2019, it was a Sunday. Nason sent a letter. So this is like a month and a couple of days after he was first arrested, because he was going to have bail hearings on the 15th and 16th, Monday and Tuesday of July 2019. So somewhere there, that's when David Fields came in. That's when David Fields became a name, that judge. And again, guys, a bunch of judges, and they're all like saying the same thing. Yeah, this dude's crazy. We should lock him up. Uh, uh, on July 14th, Nason gave a letter. He was talking about he's innocent, blah blah blah. He mentions Hope Castillo Jr. So, so one of his inmate friends, supposedly, I'm not sure if you remember this. Hope Castillo Jr. was like someone who's part of the church, and he ended up in church. Like he ended up in jail. I don't know his story, but like he's some sort of church related member related to a church family, and he's in jail. And Nason sent a letter. He was like, I'm here with Hope Castillo Jr. and he recognized me, and we're friends here, and we're watching after each other, something like that. Just a brief
Yeah.
mention, one or two sentences. And like that's just weird. Why mention this random person who's not implicated in the charges, who's been there the whole time, who, if you're a cult member, is, that would be someone you'd be suspicious of because they're not really in church and they're in jail. Why aren't they in jail? I'm sorry, but your leader's in jail in there too. And he's lying about people that he's hanging out with and not talking about the people that he should be talking about, and asking you to reminding you to pray for. It gets very twisted. The shoelaces just don't work. It's just a
Yeah.
big Gordian knot, and it takes a lot out of me, and it requires so much space and like emotional labor and just brain power to keep track of all the lies that they have. I catalog them all because I just want people to get out. Like it, uh, it's tough.
Yeah, you know what? There's just so many lies you don't know where to. I mean, he says that, wow, there's people here in the jail. They're kissing my hand. All the inmates here. What are you talking about? You're wearing an orange jumpsuit. You're considered a child predator, man. No one's gonna kiss your hand. If anything, they'll kill that guy. Prisoners do not like people who are arrested for uh, charges of child abuse, molesting juveniles. They don't like that. That's not an honorable thing in the prisons or in the jails.
Hmm.
So,
Los Angeles,
yeah, saying
dude,
that they're going to kiss your hand. No, they're not going to kiss your hand. They're going to slit your
dude,
throat.
Los Angeles is like the incarceration capital of the planet. Like so much incarceration happens in Los Angeles. Like that court system is very experienced. Whether you agree with it or not, of course there's a lot to it. It's
Yeah.
really hard. It's really difficult to like run the society right.
Hmm.
But um uh a lot of people are jailed in California. They know how to keep track of stuff. They have a lot of data. Nason, guys. Like the lies, all of it led up to this thing, and the man earned himself a $90 million bail, the highest bail ever set in LA County, the literal incarceration capital of the country, of the planet. There's a lot to say about it,
Yeah.
about the like criminal justice system. It's really hard. It's really hard to like run this country, and to just get people to agree and stuff. But like in this case, now someone is just clearly like a dude who just if you would describe him to anyone walking the planet and just give them all the details that I would give them, they would be like, yeah, that guy's actually crazy. He's a psychopath, and he just
Yeah.
plainly is this.
No one's going to be
And
kissing your hand in the jail. I'll tell you that much, especially if they know what you're arrested for. Those charges that Nason has, they're not going to kiss your hand. That's absurd. But he lies to people, and the people believe it. The people believe everything he says. That's the problem. But
guys,
what
I've
is
been
it?
like talking so much crap, and I'm like still alive, and I'm like fine, and just like
Yeah.
don't let them tell you over and over again that there's a monster under your bed. Like
Yeah.
you know what it's like to as a kid to grow up thinking that there really is a monster in your bed, and you've never seen evidence
Yeah.
of it, but you believe it really
You
hard
believe it.
because you saw it in a movie, you heard
Uh,
whatever, like you heard a noise and you didn't question it as a kid. Just like it's the same. This is the same sort of problem, but just on a bigger scale. And we just have to like be adults and recognize that some people were duped,
yeah.
just they were tricked,
And
and
and,
we just
and
got
they
to grow from that.
and they still want to do that. Nason still wants to deceive people, and the cult still wants to deceive people. That's why they keep saying that he's going to come out. Um, I mean, he may or may not. I mean, look at the O.J. Simpson case. I mean, I thought that was just a big screw up there. But realistically, with all those charges, I don't think so, man. Especially if there's video, and especially if Oaxaca, someone you ran with, not someone. Uh, I mean, this does not look good for Nason, and the real it's going to show that he really is a false apostle. He lied to you guys. He's a con man. That's what he is. He doesn't have the
Dude,
powers
have
of
we
God. He can't even get out of jail. How does he have the
can we
powers
talk
of
about the
God? He can't even get
numbers
off his handcuffs.
of these people can't count their how many people they have. They can't count. They can't count. Like children, they can't count. So Inegi, the Mexican census had their thing come out in like February, like a month ish ago. I'm not too sure. And they're like, yeah, there's like 100,000. There's under 200,000 people in La Luz del Mundo in Mexico. Their capital, country, less than 200,000. There's so many ways of like interpreting that number. That's including like babies and children, which isn't really fair because they're children. They're just born
Mhm.
into a
Yeah.
family, and 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 uh and and even the cult like has familial structures and rules that encourages you to have more children in order to just make this cult bigger by natural reproduction rather than through like preaching to people, which isn't working. Like people know this. People know it's not working
Yeah.
in so many different ways. Anyways, like there's under 200,000 people in Mexico. That's so dumb. Silem says that there's 1.8 million. If there were 1.8 million people in Mexico, in Mexico's population, I think was like 70 million, somewhere there. Something I'm trying to remember the numbers, but
Hmm.
guys, you can look these up on yourself. Again,
Hmm.
start your own research. Just
Hmm.
do it. Just do it. It starts as innocent as something as like Mexican census.
Yeah. Do a Google search.
Mexican census.
Hmm.
And this isn't like Nason,
Yeah.
blah, 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 this. No, it's just Mexican
Yeah.
census. Just learn to count. Um, there's like 70-ish million people, something like that in Mexico. Silem Garcia, Slam Garcia, Liar Garcia says that there are 1.8 million church members. He said this a couple weeks ago. He said this in response to Inegi, whatever, the Mexican census. If that were true, that means 1 in 70 people in Mexico is La Luz del Mundo. That doesn't sound right, folks. That doesn't work. That doesn't. If 1 in 70 people in Mexico was part of La Luz del Mundo, I'd be dead. That'd be a lot of
Yeah.
people who just hold on. Sara Pozos. Sara Pozos. This woman, just
She's a
liar, just conniving
spokesperson.
liar.
She's a spokesperson for the church,
Spokesperson,
just like the Silem.
conniving liar, has her hands in their pockets. She wouldn't be on national television lying. You can find these links anyways. She gave an interview in like the summer of 2019 in response to like the arrest of Nason. They asked her directly, how many La Luz del Mundo folks are there in Mexico? That's the question. It's not worded differently. 3 million. My ass. That would mean one in if it was 3 million La Luz del Mundo members in Mexico alone, that'd mean 1 in 40 people in Mexico. And it doesn't make sense. It's lies. And these are two spokespeople who can't get the lie straight. Another thing is that there's this lie that gets promulgated in the media, which goes kind of unquestioned, but again, it like starts there. If you just do a little research, it doesn't take that long. That there's this lie that's been floating around since some people claim the late 90s, but I know that I heard it out of my own family's mouth that in the mid 2000s. I know I heard this claim then for sure, that there were 5 million La Luz del Mundo members across the planet. That's a lie. That's a lie. That it doesn't work. And you know why? Because they said it back then.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like still happening now.
Yes.
Like there was no growth. What was that? Was that a goal? What just
Well, what makes it worse is that they say that the church keeps growing and growing and growing. Back in 95, they said they had 5 million. How are you going to have 5 million now and 5 million in 1995 and you're telling me the church is growing? How's it growing? It's still 5 million. If even that much. I even question that.
No, but it literally is under 1 million. I've just bet everything. Guys, like I'm not even a geographer or demographer or anything, but I kid you not. In just 30 minutes of research of just piecing together puzzles, I know that if I bet on this, I just win the jackpot. Like I would just bet on it all day long that I'm right, that it's under 1 million people. Don't let these folks lie to you. It's the same ministers all the time on the TV. They're traveling the planet, and they have their lying like groups on Facebook, just promulgating their propaganda, and like guys, just think for yourselves. Like we're better than this. Like we can't like so many Latino immigrants come to the United States and they push their children to go like study something. Just go do something. Go do something. I'm sorry, but like, I was pushed to go get my education, and I've gotten my education, and I have to use it now. And I have to use skills that I've developed onto my community and tell them that, guys, you guys like have your mental shoelaces tied in a giant knot, and you got to get that crap in order. You're better than this, and like I'm better than this. Like it's taken a lot. We just got to do it. Like it's not gonna be it can be good. Like I'm a firm believer that these like train wrecks can be good for people, but like there has to be like this truth and reconciliation. Like we just all got to get on the same page and just recognize that, like, yeah, we're being lied to, and we got to start speaking up. And I have to, and maybe you don't want to start speaking up. Just inform yourself hardcore, because these people are trained to flip the script on you. Luis, I know a minister who is overseas. I'm not saying where. I know a minister that I've known him my entire life, and only recently have we like started talking again. We had a way of speaking, but now we're like talking again. I have two people in mind. I can tell you one. This guy, I was talking to him. I was like, hey, we need to talk about the church situation. By the way, and we're talking, and he's like, he's asking me about my atheism, and I thank you for letting me be on your channel, because I know you and I have like great like differences in our foundational beliefs.
Yeah.
But you and I both recognize the priority number one is get people out of this church, make them wake up. Where they go next, that's just a different matter. But the most important thing is I just want people to get out of this thing that is so clearly hurting them. Anyways, so I was telling this church member about I was telling this church member, a minister, I was like, hey, we got to talk about the church. We got to talk about the cult. I want to talk about like the evidence. I want to talk about all these fishy stuff. He's trying to talk to me about like my atheism, which is okay. You know, I understand if he's like
Mhm.
interested in that. But I told him, I was like, dude, you're look at what you're doing. Like, you're trained to change the conversation about me. It's about me. AJ, you're so hurt. Leave us alone. Why? See, Lam tweeted me this the other day. He said, go be happy. Leave us alone. Why are you so bitter? He said this. This man said this to me. And I
Yeah.
asked him about Inegi. I asked him about those numbers. I asked him
Hmm.
about those numbers.
Hmm.
And that was the man's response. He changed the script. Anyways, back to this person I'm talking about. I'm not going to give their name, the minister.
Yeah.
I told him, I was like, dude, my my atheism, my like those that set of beliefs, that I'm not telling La Luz del Mundo people that. You know, if they're interested,
Yeah.
yes, but like that's not I know that that is not what's getting people out. What's getting people out is talking this, like telling them about the census,
The
telling them about
truth,
this, the
the fact.
doctrine, the truth. And he didn't tell me anything. This man didn't tell me anything. He was like, oh, he's AJ's freaking right. Anyways, I don't want to talk about that person, but here's another minister. I know another minister who I've spoken to, and he just just wants out, and he's scared. He's just stuck. He's overseas somewhere. He's stuck. Like, it's tough. It's really hard. Like folks, like those folks are like need help from their family, because they're not going to get the help from the church the moment
Yeah.
that they start questioning and like leave the ministry. They're just going to leave them there in poverty, you know, in most cases. But they're going to need help from their people back home in like Oregon or Florida, wherever they're
Yeah.
at, you know, wherever they came from. Like, those folks there can just
They just
start to
can't
be a
leave.
base of support to help those folks out
Yeah.
there. They spread your like they spread your young men out there on purpose in order to like cripple your family in a certain way. Um, it, it's it's not like even like certain, like, I bring up those ministers because these are certain ministers that um like are what was I going to say? I was going to say that they they're not even they're in the ministry, and they're not even fully informed about the situation. The folks way up top, they got it
Mm.
sealed tight in a certain way.
Mhm.
And you know, there's a hierarchy, and like, you know, managers and like sub managers and like
Mhm.
assistants, and they're like regional people. All those people, there's like they're monitoring each other. That's their job.
Yeah.
It's just this big, it's not, it's a business. It's a business. It's just this network of just panopticonism, of just cameras watching each other and filing reports. And you need to go speak to the minister in private. Don't bring your family, and it's going to be at 8 p.m. after church. And it's just like it's not normal. Why are you just going to like meetings like that? I totally respect the people want a sort of a people have big questions about their place in the universe and spirituality, and the you know the what happens after death. You know, I understand that. But like, is this really where you're going to spend is this really where you're going to answer those questions with Gacheton Jesus, who can't like who says he has magic powers, that are literally as fictional as those in like comic books. I have a bag of
Yeah.
comic books somewhere.
Yeah. He
Like,
said
it's
he
the
could raise
same
the
thing.
dead.
They're making you buy comic books at Casa Berea. Like,
They see it.
like,
I
we
mean,
know this. Like,
I
just
know
wake
some of
up,
them are
please.
starting to open their eyes. I know
Yeah.
some of them are opening their eyes. They see it. I mean, when Nason says he has the power to raise the dead, uh, where? Show me. You show me the evidence. I want to see the doctor records who confirmed this person was actually dead, and that
Mhm.
Nason raised him from the dead. That's. I mean, he can't even get out of his handcuffs. I think it's a bunch of baloney, and
And the man's like flying. It's just it is. It's really sad, and just people have to wake up to this. Here's another thing, and like an insult to everyone's intelligence in La Luz del Mundo. There is this culture, this new culture. Again, this part of the doctrine now, just pseudo part of the doctrine. It's not actual doctrine. Autoconsumo, self-consumption. So it have you heard of this?
I have, but I'm
We
trying to
can
remember where I heard it.
Okay, so this is kind of newish, and it's always kind of like been like there, and it makes sense. I get it, like I get it, but only has it really like ramped up since Nason came in. Nason comes in, and basically autoconsumo is a culture within La Luz del Mundo where La Luz del Mundo members are encouraged to engage in economic transactions, goods, services, whatever, with other La Luz del member churches, with other La Luz del member members. Uh, La Luz, nah, whatever, a tongue twister. But basically, they like I get that. If your car breaks down, go to the La Luz del Mundo mechanic guy that
Mhm.
we kind of know. He's gonna give you a little discount, and you know that you're giving that money
Okay.
to a brother,
Yeah. So they're keeping the
and
business
mhm,
amongst members of the church.
yeah,
Yeah, like you're saying, a mechanic
the,
or
the
groceries.
justification is, yeah, this is a good brother. This is a brother in the church. He's not gonna spend his money on booze and strippers. Uh, he's a good person, and it's gonna go back into
Mhm.
into church. So it's sort of like keep the wealth within. That's a thing. That's a thing. It started
Mhm.
ramping up around when Nason came in.
Mhm.
In 2017, I went to Nason's birthday in Guadalajara. I was there. A couple of days later, they had a carnival fair, like a fair in Hermosa Provincia. Not normal. That's not normal, guys. Um, of La Luz del Mundo members and their little businesses. Everyone had little tents. It was like a flea market, but just kind of better with some nicer tents. Uh, and I'm sorry, but that's like weird. Why? Okay, so there's that culture. Fine, you can have that. I respect that. I'm glad that people are making like granola and uh have make like journals and make like stationery and office stuff. Just people who are advertising their businesses there. If
Mhm.
you were part of the church, um, why aren't the lawyers like from La Luz del Mundo? Just like why? Like why? The Just why? Because if it was, they would have to know the truth, and our son would tell them something, and these people would be conflicted between their lawyer like confidentiality agreements and responsibilities and ethics and all that stuff. They would be conflicted between that and the doctrine that Nason is perfect. He's perfect. He can talk to Jesus. He can call him up in his brain like he's it's nuts. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
They would be conflicted, between these two things. They both don't make sense. That's why there's no like La Luz del Mundo lawyers. Imagine that. They're like pushing you to go get your education and get into APS and go get an education and dedicate it to Nason. Dedi- Dedicate. I could have gotten a law degree at this point, and they would have asked me to dedicate it to Nason. And the opportunity would come up to, oh my God, your faith. Here's an opportunity. They wouldn't hire me. You know why? Because they know that I would be stuck in this like
Yeah.
ability to like question the crap. It's just fishy. Like we can't. Why? Like, don't let the people like play you like this. They're playing you.
You know what? I'd like to
Um.
mention something
Mm,
real quick. Don't lose
mm,
your train of thought. I'd like to speak about some of the ridiculous assertions that La Luz del Mundo is making. For example, they keep saying, well, the victims do not want to appear. They do not want to testify. And they never tell them that the victims they don't have to testify under Prop 115 because the officers testify on their part. And in fact, that's what they did in the prelim. Now, during the trial, the judge has the option to say, yeah, you can testify, but that's up to the judge. But up to this point, the case hasn't even started. So why is the Luz del Mundo always saying, yeah, well, the victims never showed up to testify? Oh, you know what? They don't have to testify. But La Luz del Mundo keeps spreading lies to the people. They're making it seem like, oh, there's no victims. It's all a
mhm.
conspiracy. It's all a lie.
They're taking advantage of them. Like it's a lot of people in like Latin America who are just immigrants and they don't. It's hard to understand the criminal justice system in this country. It's really hard. Like I'm getting my PhD in history, and part of it is like you learn about laws and how they change, and it's really hard. It's hard. It's difficult, and the
Hmm.
court system should. Anyways, they take advantage of you by not even telling you that, by lying to you and making you implying certain things in their letters, like, yeah, like they make it sound like the victims are supposed to show up to the bail hearings. I'm like, you're just
Hello.
stupid.
Yeah.
The people who are like children, you're telling them to show up. you, they make it sound like these children need to show up at the bail hearings. No, it's a different
Yeah.
process. It's
Yeah.
very complicated, but
Yeah.
there's a lot to it. And Nason knows the logic, and that's why he hired crazy lawyer, like super duper expensive, top notch, world class lawyers. And he's playing you and not even telling you like what he's up to.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, like son could have been like a lawyer for the church, and then for like church matters, maybe like property stuff, and maybe like uh starting an event, for the cult, for the church, same thing, cult church, and then in this case, and so and
Yeah.
but suddenly when Nason is arrested, oh, we don't need the lawyer. We're actually gonna hire the lawyers that you learn about, and like that they make that like would
Yeah.
work for mafias. I don't want to talk bad about these people,
Specialist in that area.
but like nefarious people know where to go for legal help, in the same way that they know how to bend the system in certain ways. I know how to bend the system in certain ways. Everyone else does. But when you have a bunch of money, that lawyers or there's people out there clamoring.
Yeah.
Uh, Nason is in a very delicate position where he's hanging just by the thread of these lawyers, and I'm just like, we're so like blessed and thankful that we have the prosecutors who are doing a good job, and they're they're being careful. They're being
Yeah.
careful against this dude because they know he has a war chest. It's not normal, folks, that this thing gets just stalled forever. And then Silvia Orozco has something happen to her in November and a certain time, and there's certain details to that story that just don't connect and are questionable. That's not normal. It's not normal that other folks like Azalea Rangel Melendez is a defendant, and then like she's just gone. Like what the hell? Like what
Yeah.
happened? Uh, La Luz del Mundo talks a big game about they are great citizens in the world, and they're upright, and their leader is perfect. It's because we don't drink, and we don't go to strip clubs, we don't engage in
Yeah.
vice and all these things, and we do our taxes, and we go to jury duty, all that stuff. That's great and wonderful, but like I'm sorry, but like what happened to that? Like at the moment the leader gets caught doing something in the justice system that you would resort to and participate in, and were encouraged to participate in, and were um like what happened to that sort of like citizenship, valuing of citizenship and your responsibilities as a citizen. And then now that you're like precious like Kim Jong-un leader, religious leader, is like arrested, oh, now suddenly the Javier Becerra is corrupt in California, and the
Hmm.
Catholic Church is behind this all. The Catholic Church is not. They talk a big game about the Catholic Church having like a war chest, and they're the puppet masters, and they have Javier Becerra, and then Becerra's like on Biden's administration because he's working for the Catholic Church, and Biden's a Catholic. Just like
It's
guys, stop. No,
it's
it's
just
it's no, it's like stop
yeah.
playing that. Like
Yeah.
stop, just pay attention and go read the documents. Like just go read them. Just go watch the videos that they're telling you to not watch. There's a media apparatus in this country, a fourth branch of government, who's digesting this stuff for you and telling you the stories, and you're just busy like talking crap to everything. Like that sucks. Like why keep kissing the ring of he's not even paying you. Now someone's even not even paying you to do this. You're paying him to let him exploit you, and then use that money to like further lie to you, and to like it's really gross, and like it's infuriating.
Yeah. That's, I mean,
Hmm.
yeah, that's pretty much it. They're using their own money against them. You know, one thing
Hmm.
that I really hope, I think would be neat, is if Nason goes up on the stand and gets cross-examined. I know what would be my first question. Is it true?
That's the
My
stage,
question would
right,
be,
for him.
my question would be, is it true that you are incapable of lying? Yes or no? Because if he says no, once they catch him in a lie, he's going to be a liar. And if he says yes, if he says yes, either way, because they think he's
His
sinless.
answer.
They
Uh-huh.
think he's sinless.
He talks a big game. His answer should be, when they ask him that question, his answer should be the courtroom opens, and God and the
Yeah.
stars align, and he
Yeah.
strikes lightning, and then he clears everyone's brain, or I don't know, just some magical thing.
Uh,
That should be his answer. That he says, he's talked about how he's capable. It's not gonna do it. It's not gonna happen.
It won't
And
happen because they
like
know
we just
he'll
just
they know he'll
recognize it.
trip on his own feet, and I don't
Hmm.
think he's sharp enough to answer that question. I don't think he's sharp enough to answer any questions for that
Because the
matter.
media is gonna like come after y'all. I'm helping the media come after this church just to like point, to look at this, because like I'm not trying to shame people out of it, but I just want people to just hear the noise and recognize that, like, oh my God, just why is there so much attention? They're actually right. It's because they're actually right. There's something very wrong here. Um, like, just like why? Uh, I'm sorry. Where was I at? I'm sorry. We should like end like kind
We
of
were
soon.
just
But where was I at? I was talking about.
we're talking about Nason in court.
Oh yeah, Nason's answer this whole time should just be like to just open it up and just like show it off on the media. Just like,
Yeah.
come on, that would have been the perfect story.
Yeah.
And then everyone's interested in they
Yeah.
could show it on TV, and like he's Harry Houdini, or like he's like David, Blaine,
Yeah.
a magician or something. Guys, he doesn't have magic. Like, you just know this. You know this. You know the man doesn't do it. It's weird that there are tunnels in the neighborhood. That's weird. Like, keep looking. Like, connect the dots. The dots are all there, and I'm here to like support y'all. Like people know me. People grew up with me, and they know that I was there, and I kind of listened, and I did my own sermons. Like, I was told to do that, and I did that, and I participated, and I love those people. Like, those are just beautiful people. Like, I've met beautiful people from like
Yeah.
Argentina and Chile and El Salvador. These are very humble people,
Hmm.
hardworking, just
Honest, a lot of honest
just
people.
honest, dude. Just freaking honest, hard workers. They know how to freaking like construct things. They built that church. That's a really cool like task. That's a lot of like expertise. But and then it's beautiful, and just the hermanos like raised me and babysitted me, and just beautiful people, beautiful hardworking people. I'm sorry, but like we just can't it pains me that I've recognized so much of this, and this is just why I have to be loud and have my face out here to help people recognize that AJ's serious, and you guys just have to happen. Just have to like wake up too. Um, I just have to keep saying it. It's just like, no, like, that man is not innocent and honorable. You guys are the honorable ones. Like, we can be better. Like, the question is always, AJ, where do we go? What do we do? What do you want us to go? Um, well, if this isn't it, then where am I supposed to go? I'm so invested in this. Uh, that's the second, like we talked about this in the Spanish video, and I love that. It was like, no, that's a second question. But guys, like right now, task number one is stop going. Stop giving your money. Show up less. Question a little more. And actually, just even before all that,
Yeah.
just educate
You know
yourself,
what?
and then let your actions follow. Uh-huh.
That question, if they really think about it, doesn't even make sense. Look, I'm currently in a position where they are taking my money, but where do I go? Well, for the meantime, hey, why don't you stop the bleeding and at least leave this place so they're not taking your money? Then you go to step two, and then you can start looking around. But yeah, right now it's a no-brainer. You can go anywhere but there because at this point, all you're doing is losing money, and they're
Mhm.
deceiving you. So why stay
Yeah.
there? Doesn't make any sense.
It's triage. It's just set your priorities. And I'm sorry, but the priorities for everyone right now in the organization is the same. Well, at least the first one is the same one. Just educate yourself. Like, just please,
Mhm.
just like um I don't want to, I really don't want to sound like condescending, but just like it's like uh guys, you need to uh just have some like self-respect, and just like you guys are like really smart. Like,
Yeah.
just educate yourself. Like, just spend time. Do you know why he makes you like read the Bible on every 14th of the month? Do you know why there's so many like church times all the time, and there's special events all the time, and there's in here by the CD, here's this video, here's this testimony that they post on
Yeah.
Facebook, which is not, they're not going to show in the they're not going to show in the Dominical because they have the minister, but like they're going to post a 30-minute one on YouTube. And it's like extra homework, you know what I mean? Like extra
Hmm.
extra like stuff that you can do off the clock while you're in church. It's weird. Like, why waste your time in that?
That's
Why just
that's it.
waste
They
it?
they, they want to have your absolute control over your mind
Hmm.
24/7. That you're bombarded by hymns, you're bombarded by music, you're bombarded by phrases, you're bombarded by images, the logos, the streets. Everything is nason, nason,
Hmm.
nason. This is all about just injecting your mind with all the indoctrination of this cult. But you need to think for yourself. And yeah, and I don't want to sound condescending either, but I don't know how else to say it. I know there's smart people in La Luz del Mundo. How do I know that? Because I talk to them. They're smart people. Some of them
I
are
grew up
scared.
when I come from there, man.
Yeah, I
I
mean, they're smart.
like
There are some.
I could have left and then just lived my life and get my PhD, just
That's it.
whatever, and just like
Yeah.
I can't do that. Like I feel this great responsibility,
Mhm.
and a lot of people feel so much. Like I couldn't have started this without like actually finding my community on like the subreddit and just giving a voice and just educating myself,
Mhm.
and even questioning them all the time. I'm questioning, and they question me back, of course. But like, guys, just start questioning. Like, just educate yourself. Anyways, um, like, there's so many just other things that I wish I could be doing. Like, I want to draw. Like, I just want to paint. Like, I don't want to. I want to doodle. Like, I don't want to like. I don't want to have to like talk about this stuff. It's really grim and dark, but we have like this responsibility,
Yeah.
at least to ourselves.
Yeah.
And I can do it for other people, and I really want to do it for other people. And not everyone can do it for other people because they have a lot to like work on themselves. It all depends. It all depends. It all depends. But like I'm sorry, but like at least for me, like I just can't shut up. Like I have to just I have to just keep hitting, just keep
Mhm.
swinging because I know that we have to be like whether we're optimistic or pessimistic about it, there's the right thing to do. Whether it's gonna work or not, we still have like the right thing to do, and yeah, that's what this is.
AJ,
Mm.
what do you think is going to happen if Nason gets convicted?
I I'm a firm. I am optimistic that there are people that I have planted. I mean, and that's just me. Like I'm busy. Like you're busy, and I'm optimistic that there's been enough seeds planted around that people will start questioning. I would like there to be a this is Spartacus moment. This is something that didn't show up, and I think in the Spanish video because it got corrupted or something. But so there's the scene in 1960 Spartacus. I think we can end with this because I just really love it. There's a scene in 1960 Spartacus. It's a movie where, and you can watch it. I think on YouTube. It's probably for free. It's really long, but basically Spartacus is a Roman slave, and he runs away, and he gets other slaves to like come with him and fight. Fight the enslavers. And over a handful of days, they just kind of build up like an army, like several hundred people, slaves, and they all run away to the shore, and they're gonna take ships, and they're gonna go somewhere else to go be free, right? The like the Roman army comes and it captures them, and there's this final battle, and Spartacus gets caught. Spartacus himself gets caught. He's the leader, and there's like another 100 people in like his little group, or let's just say 50. There's like in the scene, there's like 50 people. They gather them up. These are the last people alive. The Romans are like surrounding them, and then they tell them, "We'll let you go. Just go back into slavery. You can. We'll let you go back into slavery. We're not gonna punish you. We're not gonna crucify you. We're not gonna like behead you or whatever. Just we're gonna let you go back to slavery if you tell us who Spartacus was. Like turn in your leader, turn in that one dude who decided to start questioning stuff and got this whole thing started. Turn that guy in, and we'll all let you go and just let us handle him." Spartacus is in the crowd, and he's like, well, crap, I'm gonna get up and I'm just gonna turn myself in, and I just want these people to just be okay. Like I don't want them to get hurt. Just slavery for them is, I guess, is just better than, he was just gonna turn himself in just to not cause a scene, just to not cause
Mhm.
uh, you know. He gets up. He's gonna say he's Spartacus. Someone else gets up to say he's Spartacus, and then someone else gets and claims that they are Spartacus. Someone else gets up and claims that they're Spartacus. 5 more people do it. 10 more people, and then it's the whole crowd, and they're all yelling it. Like there's strength in numbers. Like so when a son is very likely there's no way that this ends pretty for him. And I'm sorry, but even that is just telling. It starts with the lawyers. That doesn't look pretty at all. No matter how this ends, like he hired lawyers. That's freaking weird. The Innocente Mind, just so much. It's so weird from the start. But basically, there's strength in numbers, and when someone gets convicted, or just he gets out on the technicality, and that's what they were trying to get him out on a year ago. And
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but he's still in, and they didn't even explain it well. And now the members are like, oh, well, he's still in church. What the heck? Well, the government's cheating. Just like they don't know what to say because they're
Yeah.
not informed. There's strength in numbers. I'm optimistic that people will just start speaking up in their families and just saying like, this crosses a line. Like this conviction, this means something.
Yeah.
We should read, or just like we just have to start like
Yeah.
chispas, like little chispas everywhere, just little sparks everywhere, and then it's just a gigantic like fire. Like people need to leave. People just need to get out. Just
Yeah.
be honest with themselves. Learn to be honest with yourself. Like get that, and then start doing it with other folks outside of like in your family, etc. Just
Yeah.
start doing it.
Awesome. You know what?
Hmm.
I'm down to 10% battery. I'm afraid my computer's
Yeah.
gonna shut off. I didn't put the cable in, but I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up. And
Hmm.
if we need to record another one, we'll record another one. I just don't want to lose this video.
Yeah.
Any
Sure.
final quick closing comments?
No, just it's been almost a year since like a ton of my family hasn't spoken to me, and it hurts. It sucks. It's weird to like think about, and uh, but like the last words that I said to several members of my family is, I'm not gonna stop. Like guys, like I'm doing this for y'all, and it's gonna from my family, like I love you guys, and this is why I'm doing this. I have to do this. Like I just have to do this for you guys, for myself. It's the honorable thing. Like there's innocent people out there who've been really hurt, and I'm just tired of the lies and the erections of like an Inocente monument. Like that's disgusting.
Yeah.
Like that's awful. What a like disrespectful thing. What a disrespectful thing. What is a message as a message in the form that it comes in the presence that it has in the neighborhood, in the main street, in
Yeah.
your neighborhood with your money? Like what happened?
Yeah.
That came down to just that nice. Like I've been thinking about that monument so much. It bothers me to I love the decorations in Guadalajara. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah.
They try to make it look nice, and I love that. I honor them. It's a lot of work that goes into it and thought, but like that's a perversion of just like
Yeah. Of
that's
truth.
not beauty.
That's a
That's not beauty.
It's a perversion of truth. That's what
It's
that is.
it's awful.
Yeah. All right, AJ.
Um,
Thank you for being here with us
mhm.
today.
So yeah, I love my family. Just I love everyone. Please reach out to me. We like I'm in this with you guys, and so far as I can. There's not a bunch of hours in the. I've just spent so much time, and I have a lot of other things to juggle. But like this is really important, and this is a call to action. Like if I knew like it was a call to action the moment it happened, and it is now, and it's a call to action every day.
Yeah.
Like it's just every day. Just put in the time to just break away a little, and just don't sacrifice your thinking time. Like start thinking for yourself. Just start there, and it'll unfurl. And it's confusing and it's so difficult. Deprogramming is hard. Deprogramming is hard, but it works. Well, not it works, but like it gets better. It can get better, and yeah,
Amen.
we all have a lot of personal homework, and yeah,
AJ,
we'll
I'm
just
going
end
to have to stop. I'm sorry because I'm down to 8%, and I don't want to lose this recording.
for sure.
We'll talk again, brother. All right. Thanks a lot. I'm going
Yeah,
to save
take
this.
good care.
I
I'm
will.
gonna send you a message since I don't want you to lose this, but I'll send you a message.
Okay.
Mhm.
Hold on one second, brother.